Right? It was chest, right?
Yeah, we changed chest.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, you were like picking up dumbbells, and I would just pick up the same ones after them.
That is so awesome. That needs to be that.
I was like, you're done with them? I'll take them.
You're getting bullied right now. I love it. Bullied.
But I do it in such a friendly way.
Dude, we're doing a second training session tonight after this.
No problem.
Hey, you know what? She's still getting embarrassed.
No, I'm saying to him. I'm not bringing her.
No, she's coming with.
I will find you and come.
Listen, I got this under control. Well, we're started, so.
Okay, we're back, episode 75. Sorry, guys. We always have technical difficulties here, and Matt's always running around trying to fix stuff. So we are back. We have our guest we talked about, which we've been dying to get on this. You're finally in Vegas, Miss Dana Lin Bailey.
I actually watched the podcast where Dana Lin Bailey's a bully.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
Should we talk about that for a moment? Because that was... Do you want to tell? Do you remember the story?
Dana kicked my ass.
Yeah.
Like, when was that? A year ago?
That was at the American Fitness Expo.
Yeah. July last year. Yeah.
She just didn't want to stop. So I trained with everyone. I trained with Phil and Ronnie. And I have to say that Dana trains pretty hard still these days.
Oh, yeah.
No, look at you being all like, she still trains pretty hard. Dude, she whooped your ass. Just tell the truth.
I kept being like, hey, do you want to do something else? And you're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, we only did 3 sets. And you're like, yep, that's it. I'm like,
I think it was pretty early in the morning, though, too, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Because we did it before the expo.
How are you supposed to be fit at 50 if you can't train?
I was going into fit at 49 then, because I was 48.
And I'm fit at 40.
Hey, I just thought of something. Jay is going to do the Masters Olympia. Why don't you do it too?
Are you?
No.
I'm going.
No. He's just going.
Oh, you're just
So
going.
I forgot to add that to, I don't know if we don't, because Dana Lin Bailey's such a huge name, and I knew you before it was really crazy for you, but you're also the first Miss Physique Olympia.
I was
What year was that?
2013 was the first.
13, yeah, that's right.
And then I was also the first ever pro for the IFBB too. I won the first
division, or wow.
I was the first pro.
And how did you get the pro card?
Junior USA
That's right, that's how they started.
2011.
How many people are in your class?
I have no idea. I don't remember.
Was it just you?
It's weird because they used to, I don't know if they even do it now, but they had like height classes, almost like they figure, which would make sense because like I'm short and then you have someone that's like really tall, like they dwarf me. Like it's just like bodybuilding. I mean, we're doing all the same poses. So they had height classes, but there were like 4 or 5. I won my class and I won the overall. So first ever.
I remember the first time I noticed Dana. Like I was at one of Lieberman's shows, and you were like walking around, and I was like, "Damn, this girl's like really built." And I don't think you competed then.
No, I was fit. I was doing figure at that point.
But you weren't like a professional, were you?
Probably not. No.
And you were just like in crazy condition. I remember like watching you walk around. I'm like, gosh, like I don't see girls that are like this. And now I understand why training around you. I mean, of course, we've been around each other for years, but like your consistency, would you say that's probably your dedication and consistency is unmatched?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I think that's where people, like I've been training and very similar training, like 17 years, 18 years, 6 to 7 days a week. Like there were years where like I didn't even take a rest day. And then when I was getting into competing, like some of my workouts were like 3 hours long. Like I just train.
How many workouts have you done in a day? This is the question I wanted to ask.
I was with her.
How many in a day?
Was that the most ever?
3. Probably.
That was a rough day.
Yeah, it was awesome though. And
That shit wasn't awesome. It sucked for me, and I just watched.
Yeah, trained legs in the morning with Kristen Nunn. And then I trained shoulders with Hani at Alpha Land, and then came back at nighttime at like 9 o'clock and trained legs again with Yurishna. It was amazing.
Yes, you know what's crazy is, we talk about like this is obviously content, right?
Yeah.
And but this wasn't for content. Like you actually trained.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is the crazy
and like
thing.
we were doing full workouts. So like I didn't like cut any like, well, I'm training again, so I'm going to cut this short. No, I did 3 full
I hope
workouts.
you ate during that day.
I mean, I think I did.
You did. You don't
I
eat
had
a
to.
ton. You don't really eat a ton.
Not
though.
anymore. No. I eat like maybe twice a day. Today I had 1 meal and I feel great.
What was the most you would eat in your peak?
I used to eat like 6 or 7 meals a day. It was just
That's what I'm back to right now.
He's trying to
it's
get
so
huge
much.
one more time.
Yeah.
So we're
to
doing
go
this
to the Masters.
No,
Now I
I'm-
know.
I'm going there, and I may take my shirt off on stage. I'm actually announcing it right now.
Oh,
it
wow.
depends. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Romania.
They should have brought you to Masters.
I'm taking my shirt off every week leading up to this because I'm doing like a whole vlog on Snapchat.
Try to get me to
YouTube.
take my shirt off.
Yeah, all right.
Well, he was supposed to do this whole thing, but he quit already. But
Well, you like how he says that? Well, it's kind of a problem when you can't lift your shoulder up.
I mean,
I'm still doing cardio every morning. I'm still eating clean, and
we
I
trained
train.
back today.
Yeah, we trained today.
He talks the whole time as he's.
well, I know his phone calls and whatever, you know.
Hey, I didn't take any phone calls when I trained with Dana. Only with you.
So serious, you know.
I trained her training serious.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you're in Vegas. We appreciate you coming over and hanging out with us for a bit. And we want to kind of go back and talk a little bit about the history because I know a lot of people know your name and they might not know like the deep story of what made you into who you are today. And I know that like I've watched you at these expos and events and like the fan responses, like people crying and, you know, you're so sincere to your people. And I know you appreciate like your fan base, which seems to continue to grow. So you've been wildly successful off stages. I think I don't even look at the stage as part of your career. Like we all have the profession and you look at all this, right? I was Mr. Olympia, but I think we both kind of transition now to a different lifestyle. And I know you have a lot of brands and I want you to talk about that too, but I want to kind of go back to the beginning of, you know, what your upbringing was like. And, you know, I kind of know the history, so I want to let you kind of tell, you know, what you might not have put out there often.
Yeah. So, I mean, super normal family, but I mean, starting at age 5, I was on the swim team, like as a 5-year-old going to practice and like getting into cold water. I was a 6-sport athlete, soccer, basketball, field hockey, swimming, track, soccer, one of those, but there were 6 in there. I don't know. You get messed up, but I've been an athlete my whole life, competing. There were like a lot of sports that I was like, I played soccer year round. I played basketball year round. So I always was like involved in 2 sports at one time. So I would go to school and then you go to like your school sport after. And then I usually was on like a traveling team and we'd eat and then I would go to another practice at night. So that's why like, you know, training's not that bad for me. I've just always done it. But back then, like even being an athlete, I think like obviously I was in shape. I didn't have like any, looking back, I was just a normal person, but I dealt with a lot of like body dysmorphia, a lot of insecurities. There are obviously parts of me that I was very insecure about, very much obviously my chest, hated my legs. There were like years of my life I didn't wear shorts.
Why? What was wrong with your legs?
Because I played soccer, so I had,
thicker legs?
I had big legs, and like back then, it's like everyone was like tiny, skinny. Like I just remember just wanting these like little stick legs, and I just didn't have them. I was athletically built, so I just remember like hating my body. And then obviously your chest is like this big thing. And it's like if you don't have boobs or your boobs are too like, there's never the perfect size, and very uncomfortable in that whole aspect. So dealt with that my whole life. And a lot of times you don't think of like, when you think of like an athlete, you think like confident and like cool, popular. Like I did a lot of things back then to just fit in. I wanted to fit in really, really bad. And it's not that I didn't fit in. I had a crowd, but I didn't have all the cool clothes. And I did a lot of things that, like, you know, I'm not proud of, like getting into like drugs to be cooler and like going to parties and sneaking out. Like I did a lot of weird stuff to be cool and fit in.
I think a lot of people deal with
and
that.
I think so. And it's weird to see. I've completely flip-flop that, like 180. So I did well, like obviously did well in school, did well in sports, went on, played soccer for Westchester University. So that's actually where I met Rob.
This is in Pennsylvania? Or?
Yep, okay. Pennsylvania. He played football, I played soccer. So I actually met him literally the first day of preseason. So they bring the athletes in like 2 weeks beforehand for preseason. You're practicing every day. And they put you all in one dorm, like all the guys. This is your first time in college. You are all together. And then he didn't look like everybody. I was like, who's that guy? Because I can tell you exactly what he was wearing to a T, like piercings in his face, and he had this like flame shirt on, and, like cut shorts and Timberland boots. Meanwhile, like all the other football players, you're wearing like mesh shorts, like comfy clothes. So very drawn to him. I was like, oh, who's that guy? So we became friends, later on, like dated. And like through that time, like obviously once you get out of the high school drama and that thing, like I felt a little bit better, but I was still like, still not happy with what I looked like confident on a field, but then like not really confident in like daily life. Like it was hard, like getting dressed and like buying clothes, because you're just like, I don't know how to wear this, and like you just always wanting something that I didn't have. And then, so after college soccer was over, Rob and I were dating at the time, and he worked at a restaurant. So he worked very long hours. He'd have a prep shift in the morning, and then from 2 to 4 he would go to the gym, and then he would go back for night shift. And from 2 to 4, he's like, if you want to, like, I didn't see him. I'd have to wait for him to get off work, which would be like midnight.
Was he cooking or?
Yeah, he was a chef at like a very nice restaurant. So he was like, well, if you want to see me, 2 to 4, I'm going to the gym. So I started going to the gym. And like, he was like, this is my only time to get there. We can hang out, whatever. We can train together. And this is like, 2004 or 5. Like back then, girls weren't training in the gym. And the coolest part was it was called Fitness Extreme. It was actually owned by Brian Chamberlain. Do you remember?
I remember Brian Chamberlain. He was a good bodybuilder.
Yeah, Brian Chamberlain's gym. And it was a sick gym. Like, and everyone that trained there just looked like crazy bodybuilders. Like, it was cool. But not a lot of girls there. But I was also a jock, so that wasn't really, like, I hung out with guys most of the time anyway. Like, even in high school, I ran with, like, dudes. So it wasn't really, like, a weird thing to just be surrounded mostly by guys. Mm-hmm. So I was comfortable there, and started doing that. And I got into competing at some point. Never even went to a show. Like, knew him. He competed. His girlfriend at the time was like a figure girl. And there were 2 girls at the gym that were just they were getting ready for a show. And I was like, what is this? Like, they're carrying gallons of water. They always have their food, and they're doing like cardio for 3 hours a day, like, but always complaining. I was like, I look better than them. Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sign up for this too, whatever this thing is. So I bought all the weird suits, because back then you had the one piece and the two piece. Yeah, it was horrible. They were velour.
I don't even remember.
You don't remember that?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember when they bring the girls out and they'd have them do the one piece and they'd have to do 2 piece?
It was so weird.
For some reason, I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
they had 2 rounds.
2 rounds.
So do you remember what the first thing was? You remember with the actual event?
It was
It was in when?
Lehigh
Valley, I guess.
Lehigh Valley, yeah. It was Lehigh Valley,
What a guest
2000
post.
and like
Craig,
6.
it was Craig Johnson's show.
Yep.
Yeah, Craig Johnson used to bring me out to guest pose out there.
Yeah, that's the one I did. I got 6th place. and yeah.
What year was that?
Like 2006.
I might
or
have been
7.
guest
You
posing
probably
there.
You like really? I mean,
think
somebody
I was.
did, but like
I think I was.
I never even went to a bodybuilding show. So the first bodybuilding show I ever went to, I was in it. And I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like crying. I was like, oh my God, what did I sign up for? I don't know what I'm doing. And I knew that you had like your 4 turns, but they came out and they lined us up. They're like, okay, you're going to do your model turns. I was like, what the heck is that? Luckily, there was a very nice girl that showed. She was like, you just do this hand on hip thing. I was like, okay, did that. And got off stage, and it like nerve-wracking, got through it. But because I think I come from such a competitive background, I was like, oh, now this gives me a reason to be going to the gym. Now I'm preparing for something because I love, practices. Like I loved going to practice. I loved preparing for the event. And so now it like gave the gym like this whole new reason of why I'm there and what I'm doing. So like I would just sign up for show, be like, oh, there's a show in 3 weeks. I'll just sign up for it. Because again, I just always kind of stayed in shape.
I know, but it's still crazy because you're still in like super good condition. You just said like, I'm sitting here telling people on all my social media, like you have to eat X amount of meals a day and to have a physique, and look at you when you're sitting here saying I eat twice a day, once a day.
Your shoulders are striated.
So back then, how many meals were you actually eating?
I had no idea. For the first show, I think Rob did some design work for Brian for the gym because we didn't have money back then.
He was doing graphics then?
He was doing graphic design work for Brian, and Brian like wrote me a diet. And I don't even know if it switched. I think I just followed the same thing for like weeks.
But you probably trained so hard
that
you were lean anyway, right?
I was just training like Rob.
That's the main thing about, doing contests is like you have to, come in great condition, right? And it seems like I've never seen you out of shape ever.
No. And I remember when I first got into training, like I was still in college. So I was eating like ramen noodles and like training and I was seeing like results because you're going from someone that hasn't trained and then you start training, like you're going to see results. Then when I started eating actual like chicken and stuff, I was like, oh, okay. Like I like it made a difference. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think I think a lot of people don't realize it's like I've already have like this athletic background and I don't even think my genetics are that crazy. Like I think I do probably build muscle a little bit better than like
they're crazy. Just you can say it.
Oh, you train hard too.
And I train hard. Like when Rob, I just followed Rob, like we would go as heavy as possible and everything. Like I was every week we were like trying to max bench. Like what other girl was doing that? Like none.
I think I remember those old videos years ago and you'd have like 225 in there.
Oh yeah.
It was like every week you were doing 225.
Oh, trying. Yeah. I would be pressing 100-pound dumbbells, like anything, like whatever. I felt, and that was another thing that got me to like the gym is like, it was like almost like a competition with myself. Like how many pull-ups a day, like how many pull-ups can I do? Because when I first started, I could do one. And then I'm every week, it was something I wanted to work on. So every week I would start with pull-ups. And like in like a month or two, I was up to like 10 pull-ups. So it was like this competition with myself. Then I got into competing with figure. And I was like, oh, this is great. Now this gives this all such a reason. And the gym, and this is like my main goal now, and like why I'm still doing this is like the gym changed my life. So coming up from a girl, an athletic girl that like, very insecure, uncomfortable in her own skin, the gym, I started getting muscles and I liked it. It was the first time in my life that I was like, wow, I actually like what's happening. Like, this is really cool. Like, I like these shoulders. I like having abs. Like I started to like my legs. And it was the first time, like, not only was I appreciating my body for what it looked like, but I was also appreciating my body for what it was capable of doing, which was really cool. So now that I am liking my body, then I throw myself in the fitness world. I throw myself in like social media. We're doing YouTube and Facebook and all that. No one else in the world liked what I was doing. So that was like weird.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
So
the feedback you got was a little negative?
Not little. Back then, because again, this is like 2007. Like girls having muscle was not normal.
But you were so impressive. That was the thing. And, at this time, the divisions.
But you're not an average person because you like muscle. Someone that maybe doesn't even really train, like all these Joes from whoever, like they probably don't even work out. So they don't have muscle. Now this girl has muscle. That's disgusting.
No, it's intimidating for some too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what it was? I think that let's say when I did see you, and I think this was like almost like closer to like 08, 09, somewhere around there. Like I didn't see you fitting in any division.
Oh no, I didn't.
So that's where I was impressed. Like she had deep abs and whatever, and she was like, you had fitness and you had figure at the time, but
bikini. Bikini
No,
came in
bikini
07.
wasn't there.
Yeah,
07,
bikini
No,
was like
so-
even
That's right, yeah.
later.
So when I saw her, I'm like, she's like kind of a cross, like, but not. I think she'd be a little too muscular, but it looked good still.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was very balanced, but it wasn't what those divisions make.
But
When
but
figure
you
started,
couldn't
it
do
wasn't
bodybuilding.
figure wasn't like
they were
like it is
tiny.
now.
Yeah,
They're
like-
massive now.
Oh, I mean, figure now, and like, I always talk about it. It's just the
I
natural.
don't know if it's
evolution.
massive, but it's like proportions are just crazy,
Oh.
right?
Some of those girls are
I
big.
used to get marked.
I hate to say massive because it's
Yeah, I used to get marked down for having abs. Like, I used to go on stage and my shoulders would be stretched. So I used to like try to go up there and not flex my shoulders because I thought, okay, I want to do something with this. I kind of want to win, or I just don't want to keep losing. Like this sucks. But then I realized it's like every single time you like go and get the feedback and they're like, oh, you're too big, you're too hard, you're too this. I would literally have to stop like training the way I was training to fit in. Plus, like, you should get implants, you should grow your hair out and all this. And I understand. And I don't think it's like I'm asking for that. I'm asking for that feedback. And I think a lot of people can take that and they're like, that's up. It's like you're getting into a sport that it's basically a beauty pageant with muscles. So they're going to judge you and tell you things. And it's hard feedback to hear, but I understand that, and it's not the bodybuilding world. Like that's what they're there to do, to judge. And I think I realized it's like, but I like the way I look. I don't want to look like everyone else. And at that point in time, I think we had just started like Flagnor Fail, so we were really trying to get into YouTube. Like we were kind of first on the YouTube scene.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, like Rob did all the videos. We just trained together, and it was almost like weird music videos. We would just find it was just music videos, but we would be training. And then we would like show some, like we'd go out to eat and like almost like vloggy style, like before vlogs were even a thing. We were kind of already doing that. And I started to get a lot of like popularity, as much as there was positive, there was equal negative. And it was hard to deal with because, I have this history of insecurities. Then I came up and I liked the way I look, but now I'm throwing myself into the social world and all these people are coming after me. And then even competing wise, you're being told you don't look right, you're wrong, you don't fit, you need this, you need to change that. And then I have the internet people, you look like a man, you're ugly, you're gross. So it's a lot to deal with, especially as like a female, to like have men and even women. I think the hardest part was hearing it from other women. Like men, like I understand you don't understand a feeling, like, but you're a woman. Like that's why there's so many bra sizes, because no one's shaped the same. You should know, like, I'm an athlete. I have very low body fat. I'm not going to have these huge cans on me. Like, it's not going to happen. Like, sorry. And you should know that. And I think it was the hardest to get it from other like women, because it's like, man, you should be like supporting me, like, but you're not, and that felt weird. So there was a lot of like, questioning myself. Like, now I'm back to like middle school me, where it's like, ooh, I don't fit in. Do I look weird? And luckily, I had a fantastic husband.
I was just going to ask you, so it seems like you're falling back, like you had this great positive
it was like,
vibe,
and
but
it's going back down.
You're a very positive person, right? You're always smiling, and like you're just so friendly all the time. So, kind of, did you guys ever have like sit at home and like even when the judges were denying you, thinking, okay, we don't want this physique, and you're like, well, I want to be me. Did you and Rob ever sit and have these conversations and be like, okay, what do we need to do if this isn't,
if this is actually what
not
you
the
want
way
to do?
you're going to go, right? So like, tell me a little bit about like something that like where you're just like, he kind of guide and say, hey, Dana, this is what we're going to do?
I think,
because he's I see Rob as like a very talented.
He's very powerful with his words.
Yes,
too.
he is. But he has a very creative and artistic mind.
Yes.
I feel like.
And he saw something. That's the thing. It's like, I didn't see that. He saw something in me, and was like, no, you're like special. There's something there. Yeah. He saw that before I saw that. And then he coached me into me finally believing that. And I think that's all part of it. So I had we've had so many conversations. I remember sitting down and he was like, what do you want to do? And he had his goals. And at that point in time, you had to compete to get sponsorships and all that. So I wanted to be a sponsored athlete. So I was competing. I remember, I think I even wrote one day, get to the Olympia. I never even wrote down win it. It was just get to the Olympia. I wanted to get there. I wanted to be on the covers of magazines. I wanted to be the fitness model life. And I had to get there by competing. And, I realized it's cool, I'm dead last, man. Last call outs. And I think we finally realized through the YouTube, it's or even as an amateur athlete, I would get off stage and you saw, I was working with a company at the time. That's why we had a booth there. I would get off stage, be dead last, and a line would form. It's what's happening? What is this? What's happening? And don't you want to go with the girl that got first place? But it was I didn't look like everyone else. I was very unique looking. So you see the lineup, everyone looks pretty much the same, long hair, big boobs, and a lot smaller. And then there's this jacked, flat chested jack girl with short hair. It's with
a crazy midsection.
With
crazy midsection.
Really deep abs and striated shoulders. So I looked different. So when I would hop off stage, people were like, how did you not win? I was like, I don't know. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm just kind of doing it. At that point in time, I was like, cool, I'm just doing it to keep doing it. And we've had discussions if this is the route, it's crazy that I was being told pretty much this is the pathway. If you want to follow, you'll get there. You'll be first place and get to the Olympia. And I just didn't want to change the way I trained because I liked it. I didn't want boobs because I was like, how do you bench then? So I I don't
spoken like a total
it's so
meathead.
true because
I am such
because
a
I know
meathead.
Women are I don't train chest.
No, they don't train chest. And chest day was my favorite day. It would literally
chest day every day.
It was my because I loved benching. It did something for me. Just getting under a bench is very it does something.
I still miss it.
Ask her how much. So, what's your max bench press? I have to ask this.
Well, 226 because it was in killing. Yeah, 226, and that's in a competition.
So one time.
Yeah, one rep max, 225 at 130. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, you can't even do that right now.
How do you feel, Tyler, over there?
Tyler feels really bad about himself.
He's on 225 for 4 right now. 4? How many? 4. Okay, so
I won't judge you. It's fine. I'm slightly judging you.
See, you know what, Tyler? This is called the Lin Bailey soft bully. Put down a T-shirt, soft bully.
I'm a really nice bully.
And I trained chest with her when we did it last year. Right? It was chest, right?
Yeah, we trained chest.
Yeah, that's right.
I was you were picking up dumbbells, and I would just pick up the same ones after them.
That is so awesome. That needs to be.
I was you're done with them? I'll take them.
You're getting bullied right now. I love it. Bully.
But I do it in such a friendly way.
Dude, we're doing a second training session tonight after this.
No problem.
Hey, you know what? She's still getting embarrassed.
No, I'm saying to him. I'm not bringing her.
No, she's coming with.
I will find you and come. Yeah.
So when you were talking about just your insecurities and whatnot, and I remember we were talking earlier about a video that went up where, at what point in life did you just say, I don't care what anyone's saying, I don't care, and I'm going to flip it and just do me, where you're not going to think about this anymore?
I don't know if there was ever it's weird. There was just a shift at one point, and I think Rob said something the one time because I'm on the internet, I'm trying to do this thing, and getting so much negative, it was weird because again, this is I don't get the negative like I used to, and he's like, you don't understand how powerful you are, and I was like, what do you mean? He's like, that's a that's a fucking superhero power that you have. Like if you have the ability to change someone's like emotional state just by me posting a picture, because this is like before Instagram had videos or anything, just a picture of me, I can literally make someone stop what they're doing, get some sort of emotion in them, and then they need to tell me about their emotion. That's power. And I was like, you know what? That's right. And that it's one thing that I kind of teach that because I get that question a lot because some people don't know how to handle it. And I tell them about like, it's a powerful thing that if you can, without doing anything, not saying anything, just a photo of me can change someone's emotional state. As if you respond, you take that power that is now on your hands. Like I own that person. I just owned you for that, however long it took you. You probably even left my page and still thinking about how much you hate me. That's a power. But when I comment back, I just put the power back in their hands. So as long as you don't say anything back, and like over the years, it's like I started to develop like a really thick skin. Like after you're told something over and over and over, it stops that heat. The heat that comes with it just gets less and less and less. Like you can literally tell me anything, and it sort of just like bounces off of me, like really, really thick skin. And and it's something I tell people. It's like I feel like the most confident person in the world now. I've made things that were the things that I was most insecure about, which were my legs and my chest. Those are now the things that I'm like most proud of because I was able to do something that everyone else was doing. Like, and in fitness, it's like for some reason in fitness, like boobs are like a necessity for some reason. And I was able to do things that people didn't think I was going to do. I'm like, no, you'll never get to the Olympia and you don't look right. Like they literally created a division for me. I did it this opposite way. I didn't follow anything. I didn't do the things they told me to do. I didn't follow the direct pathway that was shining with this bright light. Like do all these things. And I was like, but I don't want to. And I just went this way and I still ended up on top. And that's really freaking cool. And like, and made all those, and like, I think about like, what is it? The butterfly effect. One simple decision that I like, as simple as like me getting breast implants. If I did that, what would the trajectory of my life have been? Like just that simple decision not to do that. And most people, they appreciate, like I've had so many women that like really, really appreciate that. They're like, I love that you are totally comfortable like that because I'm in a sport where this is not normal.
It can make them feel comfortable in their own skin.
And they're like, and most of the time they have their boobs done. And they're like, I didn't want them and I did it because I was told I was going to do better and this and that. And it's like, and you didn't. And you still won. and I think that's the thing. And I make people, it's like, I made something I was so insecure about I'm probably the proudest because I conquered myself. I conquered all the things, like all the pathways. I didn't do them.
Just hearing her talk about that, we talk about trajectories a lot.
Just like one little decision.
Like, if you look at Jay's career in 01, he arguably should have won. Mm-hmm. What would have happened if he did win?
Yeah. What
would have happened if Ronnie would have got pissed and came back the next year and beat him, and then he felt a certain way, and then the Jay Cutler legend didn't grow? Yeah. It might have stopped right there, and then Ronnie might have won too, and then Kevin, he might have fell back. Like, it could have changed your whole trajectory. Just one little
decision. Like, and because like as a competitor, you're wanting to do, like, what if I stopped training the way I trained and then I became a pro figure? I wouldn't have been the first physique winner just by not following. I followed what I wanted, and I just think it's just such a weird decision to even think like just not getting boob implants.
Can I ask you an honest question?
Yeah.
Was there any time where you were like, maybe I should do it?
Oh, we sat down and I was like, because I wanted to do this thing and I wasn't doing well. And I thought like, cool, like I'm not going to get sponsored. Like none of this is going to be happening. Like I won't be there unless I do well in this sport. It's like, so I sat down, I was like, do I get them? Like, so that I actually do well? And
what did Rob say?
He's like, he just asked me a similar, he's like, do you want them? I was like, well, not really. Again, because I went back to like, how am I going to bench? So luckily, I just sort of liked just.
So was there a point where you just like, this never came up again?
And then I think
forward?
that was, we just sort of moved forward with it. He's like, you're perfect the way you are. You're getting attention that no one else is getting by being you. So there's something there. And he's like, he's like, I'm a butt guy. Anyway, you got a butt. He was like, but having that just positive, like just that simple words, like you are perfect the way you are. And then that's when I like started to believe it. And then it's like, why does it matter? Like, this is my husband. Like, why does it matter if this dude thinks I'm hot? It doesn't.
Yeah.
It really, or this whoever. It's like, I don't need to impress someone. Because as soon as you start making a decision based on somebody else's opinion, you've lost yourself.
I know, but that shows your maturity levels from the time when you were in college trying to fit in and you were going to the parties and doing the things, right? And now you're making mature decisions.
Yeah.
It's life decisions, right? And at the time, financially, like you're not well off at this point, right? I mean, that's why you're saying, hey, I'm spending money on this. I'm not really getting a return. What is the avenue that we take? Now you guys are doing social media. You're like the first to YouTube. And to be honest, I mean, that's where if I was to look at your career, and I know we talk about, being successful on stage and winning the first Olympia and all that, but I look at you as like kind of a social media pioneer, like to really show your life on what you did, right? Like kind of showing. And I think that I know your lifestyle now, and I know we'll talk a little bit about it, but it's like you wake up every day and you do exactly what the hell you want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's
freedom.
And then that's freedom.
It is
freedom. You're in a place that people view as the most freedom, living in Montana. I know you guys, I went out to your gym, and I want to talk about that too, because you guys had your own gym, and I saw your following there, and you guys were doing great things for military and all these things. So, at this time, you're not financially in the position, you're yourself and Rob, and you're looking for deals at the time. So kind of tell us, like, what was the decision? Like, how did you move forward with all that? Where did you land first that gave you opportunity?
Well, I actually remember.
Was Rob still cooking at this time?
No, we had, I don't know, we might have even started Flagnor Fail at that point in time, which is why we were doing the YouTube to like obviously make me more visible because we were both the face. So it's like, let's build you up to build our brand up, which was a great move.
And you had this name, you came up with this name. Kind of tell us a little bit about this. Whose idea was it really?
Rob, he's the idea. I am not the idea person.
And did he just have this revelation one night on like, this is what I want to call it? Or did he throw it out there? And I know you guys are kind of hip, right? You guys are dressing different. And,
yeah, we're
you mentioned that he's, he has the earrings, and like Rob always, when you said he has the Timberlands, like I still see him wearing the boots all the time.
Yeah. They were red Timberland boots. And I was like, no.
So you come up with this concept.
Yep.
Flagnor Fail.
So we actually had a clothing line before that because we were in like car scenes and stuff. So we actually had it was
what do
called
you mean car scenes.
We go to car events.
Okay.
And we would print shirts for our friends and stuff. It was called Broken Text, and the domain name ran up. And again, we were broke at the time, so we like emailed the person. We're like, hey, can we buy that from you? And they wanted probably I think they wanted like $500, and was like, never mind.
We can't afford it.
We can't, never mind. It was probably maybe even less than that. And we were like, whatever. But yeah, he's just creative. He's always been a creative. He's the idea guy. I'm more of like the executor. You give me a task, I will execute. I don't come up with these crazy things. That's all him. So the name was him. So Flagnor Fail, it stands like for white flag, and then Nor makes it not.
Wasn't there a famous military guy that said
Winston Churchill? Yeah, it's like part of like a quote, like we will go to we shall not flag nor fail.
Yes.
We shall.
You'll never give up.
Yeah. So it's a no surrender, no failure. Which, at that point in time, it was like yeah, if you look at all of our t-shirts, it's just little words that we kind of say to ourselves. It's like just to like keep moving forward. So we wanted something that one was like, no one really, it's a good question piece, because people are like, what the heck is Flagnor fail? Like, what does that mean? And then you get to talk about it. And so that was a great way. And again, he knows all this stuff. Like, he's great with branding. He's just everything. Very
visionary.
He is a visionary. So yeah, it started then, and just realized like, okay, so we need to like build it. We didn't have money, so
like one T-shirt you probably started with, right?
Oh, and we pre-saled too, so we didn't even have like, yeah. So if you bought our first shirts, we didn't even have product because we didn't have money to buy it. So we would buy one shirt, print it, put it up for sale. Hopefully it would sell. We would get enough money, and then we would go buy shirts, and then we would quick print them.
Those people that have the original.
It took like 3 weeks to get to you.
I was going to say, imagine whoever has the original one.
People have my original shirts. I did like a line drawing, and it said a cut above Jay Cutler, and it was like a line picture, and people still come to me, and I'm like, that is my first T-shirt I sold for $20, and through my mail order before the internet existed.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
And you had the internet at this point, right?
At this point, the internet was just
no
so
Instagram
different.
yet.
No Instagram, just like Facebook.
So for you, on the competition side, so what year did Women's Physique come out, and how did you hear about it?
So I actually remember. So I was doing nationals figure, like because I would do okay at a local level show, like because it's just local. As soon as I get to nationals, it would be like dead last. So I was doing nationals like 2010. And I even went into it like, hey, this is like getting expensive. This is just going to be my last one. Like, maybe we just take a break for a little. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. And after that show, that's when like there was just words. Like I heard of this new division they were creating, and everything they talked about, they were like, yeah, it's a figure girl with a little more muscle, a little more condition. I was like, wait, that's me. That's all the things they tell me. So I was like, cool, I'm back in it. Like, this is my chance.
I'm back in the game,
I'm
coach.
back in the game, coach. And I was like, it's literally everything they told me all these years. So I was like, whatever the first show is, we're going to it. Wherever it's at. It happened to be Junior USA's in, South Carolina? South Carolina.
Charleston.
Yeah, we drove down there, had zero money. Funny story. So Drew was living with us at a time, and he had another job. This was like before he like came on with us. We stole his like work minivan. We drove down. They lived off of like probably like Skittles and energy drinks because we didn't have like a lot of money at the time. I had like cold tilapia. Like I was doing my own diet and like I had no idea. So I was like trying to basically kill myself eating just cold gelatinous tilapia. I have not eaten an ounce of tilapia since then. That was my last 2010, 11 was the last year I ate tilapia because of that trip, because we drove down. I had it on ice. Like I was eating it out of the bag. And I remember we got like halfway and we just needed to sleep for like 4 hours. So we got to this hotel and we didn't have money it was probably like $100 rooms. And we're like, hey, so we talked to the front desk guy. We're like, first of all, it's 2 dudes and a girl. And they're like, we just need the room for like just a couple hours. Like, is there any way you could like cut us a break? They're like, oh, you just need it for a couple hours.
Oh no.
They're like, no, we just need sleep. They're like, oh, sure you do. It's like, but really? So they actually cut it in half because we're like, we promise we'll check out. Like, we just need to sleep for a little bit. And I think we got it for like $40 or $50 or something. And we did just sleep and like got on our road. And yeah, so he's like, yeah, sure. It was a sketchy little hotel too.
I'm sure they hear that every week.
You know what's funny is you say this tilapia with the gel lid because when you cook it and you put it in a Tupperware and it's hot and then it has like fluid that leaks out of it and then it gets cold
it's like jelly.
I'm like dry heaving.
I'm just thinking this. So you guys that are listening or watching this, you know exactly if you dyed it for a contest. It is.
I'm dry heaving right now. Like I'm thinking about it and just like, oh my God, horrible.
I think a tilapia meal coming up would be a great reminder to never do it again.
I had 4 pounds a day when I was training.
I had and like we didn't have money, so I was buying like the shittiest shitty frozen ones, like just where it comes in like a whole
They got
bag.
freezer burn on it.
Oh my God, they were terrible. Yeah, but got down to the show and won it. And I was like, oh shit.
Had you won a show ever before then?
I mean, like the local level shows.
Yeah.
But once you got to nationals, no, dead last.
So now you're like pro.
I was the first pro ever in history. I was like, now it's like, okay, all those things I wrote down, I can make them happen. But it was weird. I won, and I was like, cool. Sponsorships are going to come in. It's going to be great. Not one. No one. No. Rob, I remember going to like shows and expos, and like Rob would like email people like, hey, Lin Bailey, like she just won this. She's the first pro. Like, would you want to sign it? Like, we're looking for a sponsorship. And they're like, nope, don't want her. No one wanted. I mean, I even went to the Olympia. I was with MHP at that time. MHP was the first company that finally picked me up. I was like, fine, please take me. Like, I thought this was it. Yeah, even after the Olympia, I remember I was like, I won the first Olympia. I was like, okay, this is where the big deals come in. They're going to be, my phone's, I was like, well, I'll just let my phone ring. Just waiting for, who wants to take a photo? Like, now I'm going to get these magazines. Nope. So Rob went cause we had a lot of friends, cause we were pretty well known. Like we were knowing people, like Flex knew us at that time. Like people were trying to help us out and get us in. Like Andy Heyman actually was the first person, this was a long time ago, that tried to get me with Dymatize, and just no one wanted me. And he was like, no, he used to have he would try to fight for me. They're like, no, she has something. He knew something, I was going to be something before all of fitness. And he was like, no, I'm going to try to keep helping you. But after the Olympia, I didn't even get a photo shoot. Not even a photo shoot. And I remember Rob calling up the magazines and stuff, hey, Dina just won the Olympia. Do you want should we wait around? Do you want to shoot with her? And they're like, no, sorry, all booked up, because they were shooting all the bikini girls and stuff. Because this is they still didn't know, supplement companies still didn't know what to do with me.
That was 13, right?
13. Yeah. I mean, even my own supplement company didn't know what to they always wanted to portray me as this other person. Is that's not who I am. And I used to show up at expos wearing UFO pants, and because they would be like, here's your outfit. I'm like, nope, not wearing that. I'm not wearing it. I'll wear whatever I want. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the first year of Men's Physique too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
I remember being at the expo when she won, and I just remembered seeing the sea of people around.
It was crazy.
And it was all because of you.
It was crazy.
And I didn't even know one other girl competing in the division. I just knew you.
Yeah. Because, it was crazy. So, yeah, I thought all these doors were going to open up. And the first person to put me on a magazine was Mark Bell, which is Power Magazine. It's not even a bodybuilding magazine. I remember him coming to me. He was like, how are you not on the magazine? I was like, I don't know. We tried. No one wants anything to do with me. They still didn't understand. They're like, okay, you don't have boobs, you have muscles. It's scary. They didn't know what to do with me. So Mark's like, I'm going to put you on the magazine. You'll be on the cover of Power Magazine. Got on the cover of Power Magazine. And then it probably sold really well. And then I think other companies like, oh, no, wait. It took another year for the fitness industry to
realize it.
To realize, oh, this is, they were just slow. And so, yeah, Mark Bell, thank you. He was just I don't understand why you're not on these, you should be having all the deals. I had millions of followers, but companies were just stuck in their old ways of what a girl in fitness should look like and and I just refused to change. And then they caught on. And then I was
at this time you were doing a ton of media and
I was on
documenting
everything. Yeah,
everything. Had the crazy lines everywhere, and it was round 13 is when it really got nutty.
Yeah, but even winning it took almost another year for people to oh, this is she is something. She is cool. And then now it's all changed.
Were you disappointed though?
I mean, that first time. So the second time, so instead of having photos done after winning the Olympia, I went and I trained with Mike Rashid. We did put a YouTube video out.
I remember that one.
Yeah, it was a sick video. So everyone's getting like, I'm just actually training. I just just won, depleted, whatever. I'm training as heavy.
Where was this?
City
Athletic Club.
Yeah, the City Athletic Club with the chandeliers and stuff.
Yep.
And everyone's taking photos, and I feel like everyone's staring, and they're like, because I'm literally like, I'm going hard. Yeah. And so the next year, knowing that, like, okay, no one wants to shoot with you, so we kind of Rob prepared ahead of time. He's like, we're going to go on tour afterwards. So I trained the next day. I think I actually had people that were like, hey, can you stay around and shoot? And we're like, actually, we're on tour. And then I ended up and told people no.
Is this the year you had like the van or the...
Yeah, we did, it was Porsche tour. So we had two Porsches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
you shipped them to Lynn's place.
Yeah, we shipped them to Lynn's.
Yeah.
And we got in our two Porsches.
I remember the videos and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then we had to make it back to North Carolina because Drew was getting married. So every day we mapped out, and we would hit a gym every single day. And I would train, and then we would do we got to Texas, and that was like a 7-hour line. And I stayed till like midnight. And then we kept getting, we're like, oh my God, we didn't know that many people would be showing up at these gyms. But it was probably the coolest rock star appearance to show up. There's like a 5-hour line of people just cheering and chanting for you. The videos are really cool. So instead of being upset, oh, these people don't care about me, the next year we just prepared. We're like, cool, we're going to do something else, and it's going to make up for these people not caring. Although then they finally started caring. They're like, hey, do you want to stick around? I'm like, nope, sorry, I'm on Porsche tour. See you later. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I remember one of my first interactions with Rob was in 2014. We were at the Arnold, 2015. And you guys had the booth in the back, and Gifted Nutrition had it there. And I was with Phil. Yeah. And Phil's line went this way, and Dana's went this way, and they kind of got
they got
intertwined. It was like a maze.
A sea of people. It was probably the worst places they could have put us. Were back to back. It was
it was this crazy line, and I hadn't eaten anything all day, and there was the little concession stand right there where they had food. So I'm finally I'm gonna go get some food. It was whatever time. And all of a sudden, Rob's running through with Dana on his shoulders. Yeah. And he stops at me, and I finally get food, and I'm about to take a bite. And he's like, yo, you want a piece of this? Do you want to be part of this? And I'm like, I just want to eat, bro. No. And then right around the corner, I took a picture, and there's you on his shoulders and Phil flexing.
Yeah.
And that was one of the first times I really actually talked to Rob. Then we pulled aside and spoke afterwards. But
yeah,
that's just kind of funny. Those random lines are all over the place.
Well, we were like, Phil's over there. We should go take a picture with him. So we ran over. Yeah. And it was just a sea of people. That was crazy.
It was in the back corner. They only had two booths, and they kept this massive space there.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That year I actually got second place, and
at the Arnold. Yes.
Yep. Well, yeah, and second place at the Olympia too. But I remember getting to that booth. That was the first time my parents saw me compete too, which was the first time they ever saw it. Even as an amateur, they didn't get it back then, and that was probably my fault for not explaining what this was doing for me, why I'm training. My family just it was weird. They're like, oh, she's doing that weird body. My parents used to go to every soccer event. They would drive 8 hours to go watch me play soccer. So the first show they ever watched me was Arnold 2015, and it happened to be my last. And I think my dad was crying. He didn't even he was just because we got back to that line, and there was a sea of people, and they're like, you're just our daughter. Why are they waiting for you? I was I tried to tell you, but these people like me a lot.
So at what point did you say to yourself, okay, because when you quit competing, you were still in the mix.
Oh yeah.
To win. What made you go, I'm not doing this anymore?
It wasn't even me. And I don't say it so I guess maybe it even sounds weird, but like Rob sort of was like, hey, we're going to take a break. Like, you know, like you guys said, like it had nothing to do with not being first anymore. What people don't talk about is like bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding. It's taught me so much, but after doing it for like 10 or 11 years straight, like, and as an amateur, I was doing like 4 or 5 shows a year. It makes you, and I have a really good head on my shoulders, but it makes you think about training a little bit differently. It makes you think about food a little bit differently. So even like going on a vacation, as soon as we get to like, let's say we got to Mexico, we didn't do many, but like, let's say we went on vacation, first thing I would do would be like, I need to go to the gym. And it's like, no, why don't you be a wife, you know? Yeah. Or we would go out to dinner and I would eat, I'd indulge, and I would immediately want to go home and like get on the stairmill. Like that's, so you sort of, not that I lost myself, but like, he was like, you know, I want my wife. Let's just try it out. Let's just take a break, like mentally. Let's just try it out. Yeah. Just mentally, emotionally, just to take just a break. It was just going to be a year just to see how it was. And the next, I realized like I took off for a year and nothing really changed. Nothing happened. I was more involved with my business. Like with Flagnor Fail, I got like, because before it was like eat, sleep, train. Like literally my whole life revolved around Olympia and all of that, my whole life. So I was never there on like a business standpoint. So now like then we had Lunch Run Everything. So now I'm like a part of that. And a couple years later, then I started my own business. Like, so without stepping away from stage, I don't think I would have did all these things that actually now make money. You don't make money as an athlete. You don't make money as a competitor unless you're top 3 men's open. Like then you can make money. But as a female, like you don't. I always tell people it's like I know so many people, especially like girls and guys, that get into competing because they think, oh, this is where I'm going to make it. This is where all the money happens. Like no, the money, that's your platform. That is your platform to show yourself. It gives you content, like getting ready for shows. And then it's what you do off stage is where you actually make the money. And I don't...
Real money.
The real money.
Yeah.
And without stepping away, I wouldn't have like my successful business. Like I make really good money just on my own. Like, and there's nothing that goes, it's just me, just my workouts. And I make great money. And I didn't do that before because I was so just dedicated and just cooking food and eating food. Like I was eating 7 times a day. That's a tedious job, like just cooking food. So I used that as a platform. And then, you know, the first year happened. And then I realized like my following's not going away because the first year going back to the Olympia and not being in it was really weird. I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling, but I still had like couple hour long line and I was like, oh, people are still here. Okay. The next year we did it again and I didn't compete. Every year it was like, it's always hard going back because like I like being up there. I like performing. I love being in front of people, but I realized like the people aren't there. And I talk about like getting second place at the Olympia was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me because it made me realize like these people aren't following me because I was Miss Olympia. They were following me way before that. And I thought when I got second place, like I was going to lose everything. No one's going to follow me. They're going to follow this person now. And nothing changed. And that like was like very awakening. I was like, oh, okay. Like you don't have to be like they enjoyed following the process and the journey and the YouTubes. But they didn't care. I could have got 15th place. They still wouldn't have cared. So I realized it's like, okay, like they're still here. They're still here. And here we are like 9 years later. And like, I still am just gaining followers, just putting out content and being helpful and being valuable. And that's like, all I want to do is be valuable to other people. So that's what I'm doing with my company. That's what I do online. Like, I don't just want to post a picture. Like I want to add value to your life somehow.
Do you think people forget that you are, and when I say you're Miss Olympia, you're one of the people that can call yourselves Miss Olympia because there was no bodybuilding when you won.
Oh yeah, that is true.
We talk about this a lot. There's only people that can use certain titles. You were the reigning bodybuilding woman, so you actually are a Miss Olympia.
That's true. I never even thought of that, but yeah, I always say Miss Physique Olympia.
Because sometimes people forget, and I remember we were in Dubai, and Dana was on a panel, it was you and Kai and a bunch of other people.
Gosh,
and I remember,
forget that. We worked out on the beach and all that.
Yeah. And I remember the guy introduced her like, this is Dana Linn. She's a influencer. And I remember I went over to the guy and said, hey, man, she's a Miss Olympia. Give her respect. I said it to the guy.
She's an influencer.
And Rob kind of looked at me like,
what year was that?
19?
Yeah, I don't remember.
18?
I don't. All my years mushed together.
18, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were doing. I have a picture of you and Rob. You were sitting on top of those monkey bars in that little gym.
Oh yeah.
Remember
and the sun was coming down. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
it was so cool. So that was a good trip.
Was that the last time you were in Dubai?
Yeah, I think the first.
Was that the last time?
Yeah.
I think so.
That was for
one of the distributors brought your guys' products over there. But it was you, Kai, and was it Rami? I forgot who else was up there. You were the only girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the radio station and all that. But I remember the van. You had a van. We met in Massachusetts.
Done a lot of
we had a
tours.
Store in Massachusetts, and you guys were there, and we had a crazy lineup. And so you kind of did this tour as like a thank you to all your fans. And like, what was your wildest memory of like when you showed up and you couldn't believe the line of people for you?
Yeah,
like,
there was a Texas plate. I can't remember.
So was it the Porsche tour?
Yeah, Porsche tour was probably the biggest because it was.
You weren't even monetizing this necessarily,
no, we were
right?
just showing
like
up.
You're driving in Porsches, and it's like, we go to shows and we have merchandise and 8x10s and stuff like that.
Bring anything.
You're just like, okay, I'm getting in the car, I'm driving.
We're just gonna meet people.
And what kind of Porsche were you driving?
So we had the Cayman.
Okay, that was your car.
Yeah.
And Rob had a turbo, or
he had the 911. I don't know what year. The white. It was white, but now it's like.
And you wrapped them.
Yep, it was wrapped with Flagnor fail
and
graphics.
Did you get? And when you drove, did people like yell to you like on the freeway?
They would want to race and
but I mean they recognized who
the
you
cars,
were.
Yeah. Porsche tour was really cool. We've done a lot of tours. Airstream. We did an Airstream tour. Airstream tour was down to the Tampa Pro. I was competing at the Tampa Pro. So, how do you make a prep different or exciting? You tour the last week of it. That was hard.
No way.
Yeah.
That's kind of brutal.
In an Airstream that didn't have air conditioning.
Oh my God.
And I was doing gym appearances every single day leading up to the Tampa Pro.
And how long? Like you stay till the last person pretty much, right?
Every day. So what we did, because I was in prep, I would train. They could watch me train. I was like, I have to train. You can watch me train, and then we'll do pictures after. And like, there was one place like New Orleans we stopped at, and we were there till like 2 a.m. and it was crazy. Or that was Porsche tour, because that's not on the way to Tampa.
It all runs together.
It all runs because we've done so many.
Do you ever look at the end of the line, because he does this a lot, and like he comes up and he's like, dude, you need to do something.
You need
because
to
we're
talk
going to
more.
be here.
We're going to be here. We're going to miss our flight. Like, I have to. Because
you gotta.
But do you ever look down and you're like, hey, how long is this line? Because it seems like it never stops,
It
right?
never ends. Sometimes it doesn't.
You know what though? But the fact that they did, me and Jay talk about this all the time. Not every appearance has to be financial.
Oh no.
And a lot of people nowadays, they won't do appearances. They're like, no, I got to get this much, and I got to do this. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you got to make sure you can be there for that kid or that person that can't afford that $100 appearance or whatever. So doing those build these fans that will be here now to where you haven't been on stage in almost a decade, and people still are there. And I guarantee you, if you do an appearance next week, someone will come up to you that was at one of those Porsche tours, that was 16 years old. Hey man, I got to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Well, I want to buy something from you now because you did that for me when I was 12 years old, and you stood in line and I took a picture with you when I didn't have the money. So the fact that you guys did that, you're still getting the ripple effects today from stuff that you did 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you, Dana, when was the gym concept? When did you guys do the gym? Do you remember what years that were?
To the public gym?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I never know the years. Yeah, somewhere
16.
probably around there.
Rob called me when you guys were moving, and he's like, hey, do you want our equipment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And I have this space back here, you know, and at the time I
we
was
had
just,
so much.
and he's like, I'm just going to ship it to you. I'm like, no, bro, I have no space for it.
We were just trying to get rid of stuff at that point. Yeah, we opened it up once we sold. But yeah, we've always had a gym. We've always had a gym in our warehouse. Wherever we were at, we always had a gym. My favorite gym still to this day was our old warehouse in Pennsylvania. Because we had 40,000 square feet. We had a fully working like race car building shop, like race cars. They built race cars. We had a fabricator that helped build the race cars, and then he also fabricated gym equipment, Joe. And then we had a race team, like 2 drift
And this is
professional.
where you did the donuts around the building, right?
I learned how to drift there.
You know, my
yeah.
warehouse is in Quakertown, so I wasn't far from
Yeah,
where you guys
yeah.
That's where my big warehouse is, actually.
Yeah,
So.
but then above we had like an 8,000 to 10,000 square foot warehouse or gym, and we did seminars out of there. We did like the warehouse gym camps. Flex and I were just talking about that because he was like one of the guests. We had like Steve Cook there. Like we used to bring like big people, and we made it almost into a little expo. Like we had like vendors would come and set up shop. We had like Muscle Egg and Muscleicious Foods. You remember Muscleicious Foods?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the pudding. They would set up like literally vendors would be there. And then First Form, Andy used to send us like pallets of like free stuff to give out. So these people would come in. We're giving like a seminar. We'd sell 100 tickets. They'd sell out instantly. But then you would leave like you were just at the Arnold for 4 days, like just with like piles and piles of stuff. Like the amount of free stuff that we gave back to people, because we weren't sponsored by anybody. So everyone would send us stuff. So I would just reach out and like, hey, we're doing a camp. Do you want to send any like sample packets and like pro subs? Every single company sent us stuff. Like it was awesome. And then we finally like decided to open a public gym. Yeah.
I think that was end of 15 or beginning of 16.
Yeah, I came out 1 year for the veterans event, right?
Yeah.
That would have been 18 or 19?
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
No, 19. 19.
That was the only time I came out.
Because you
there.
guys closed the gym down shortly after.
Yeah. During like the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
We finally just was like,
That was a fun appearance because we got to.
We landed in the morning. I think we flew overnight or something.
Yeah. You flew overnight.
Okay.
I forgot where I came from. I came from somewhere else, and I met you guys there. But you flew in. I remember we had a nonstop for you flying into Philly, and you got picked up. And me and Joey flew in from Florida.
Yeah,
we flew up. Joey Firestone and I. We came over because I remember that was the first time we had not done a deal with you yet with Trifecta, and I said to Greg, I was like, I need you to send some food to this event. It's a big military event. Just send it.
And they sent so much.
He was like, okay. And I didn't know. And I remember Rob called me. He's like, what do we do with all this? I said, I don't know. He goes, they sent a lot of food. I'm like,
a lot of food.
They posted a picture, and it was like 3 boxes, and Dana
remember.
was flexing over
sitting
top.
on top. It was so much. I was like, I don't even know.
I said, just give it away. Give it to everybody.
We was like, we don't even have enough freezer space for all this. Like, so we were just giving them away. Like it was. That was
fun
cool
because I remember there's a huge picture of the sea of people. And I remember I'm the one that actually took it because I was upstairs.
Oh, you were upstairs.
I was upstairs, and then Dana and Robert up front, and Brooke Ents is there, and the Muscle is there, and you were there, and Mike Rashid, and everyone. And I'm like, nobody knows that I'm the guy that took the picture up top.
Dude, there were so many people there.
It seemed like there was like 1,000 people.
I think there was. It was probably highly illegal. Like I'm surprised they didn't shut us down.
One of the funny parts about that, the night before the event, Joey and I were there with Mike Rashid, and he's like, "Hey man, try this new product." I'm like, what the hell are you giving me? He's like, it's this new product I'm working on. And I'm like is my heart going to stop?
Yeah, like, what's in this?
And then you were doing something with Mike where you tried to cross the gym without touching your feet on the floor.
Yeah.
It was like monkey bars.
Yeah.
You were like climbing and
floor
jumping.
Is lava.
Yeah.
We played floor is lava.
I have that on my storyline saved. Dana's like climbing across equipment and jumping from thing to thing.
Mike's such a good person, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like you guys have a lot of history. Mike,
Yeah. Yeah. The first time, the first time I ever met Mike was 2013 when I trained with him. Like I followed him for a while, and he was like, "Hey, we should do a training video." We're like, well, no one wants to shoot me. Let's train.
Who do you think is the most inspirational person that you kind of followed coming up? did you ever look at a female or a male that gave you motivation to train harder? Or you don't seem like someone that would pick up a magazine and read. And
it's weird. I used to I'm such a meathead. Like I would, like, all my favorite bodybuilders, they're all men. I never looked at women. Like Kai, like as far as like posing and stuff, like such an incredible pose. Like a lot of my routines, like I used to just watch videos of him posing, and a lot of the moves and a lot of my poses are like from him. Actually, Arnold 2015. I did it to Dirty Diana, but it was the weekend version because his Dirty Diana routine, I don't even know, it might have been a guest posing, but he did Dirty Diana. It was the most incredible routine ever. So that was actually like a Kai dedicated.
I think he actually did it at the Arnold one.
Kai,
yeah,
he
I
did
think it was
at the Colorado.
Oh, okay.
It was the one that was like the ultimate.
The ultimate, yeah, it was incredible. But so a lot of like just posing, like inspiration came from him.
Wasn't there a time when you posed with Kai and they tried to get you off that you jumped in front of everybody? Where was that? Was it in Denmark?
We posed. We did like a couples poses in Denmark.
For Stellan,
Stellan. Rob, that was Rob's first performance.
That's right, he performed.
Yeah, he performed. Yep. So we did a couples pose like the day before, and then the next day, like, we did the same thing, but then Rob performed live.
We're doing another Scandinavia tour, and we always reach out to Stellan. And every time
he's the greatest.
He's like, we just saw him in Germany.
He's awesome.
He came up and he's standing from a distance. I'm looking and I'm like what the?
He just stands in line. He's like, dude, come up here.
Yeah, he was like standing from afar and just watching. I said, why are you just standing there? Come see us.
Come see us. Stellan, you're the best.
So you and Kai are on the same team now. So,
actually, it's weird. It's like full circle because he was with Muscle Meds when I was with MHP.
Yeah, right,
and like, Kai was always like my person. I was like, he's fascinating to watch. He's a fascinating person. So we were like sort of like, that was like brother sister brand, and then now I'm on Redcon 1 with him.
So how did that transition? Because you obviously had your own brand, and tell the story of this.
We had our own brand, run everything for like 10 years almost, like a really long time, and it was great. It ran great. We had athletes, and at one point, like after 7 or 8 years, it started to get like sort of stale because it's a very oversaturated thing. Everyone in fitness, like everybody has supplement lines, everybody has clothing lines. It's over, and like we just felt like we weren't really standing for anything. We had good products, but it was like we're just like everybody else. So about 2 years ago, we did like a full rebrand of Run Everything, and I wanted it to like stand for something. And I was basing it off of like all my years throughout fitness. I always felt like women never were like the focus. It's a very male dominant sport. Like guys get paid more. It's just, I understand it's a business. I get it. It's fine. But I always felt like women were almost like a, like an ornament on, just like an ornament on the tree. So we decided, we're like, cool, let's go after something that no one else is doing. Like Alani knew, they're a female brand, but it's very girly. It's definitely like booty bands and butt workouts and pink and green. So I wanted a brand for the female athlete, like girls that are like serious in the gym, goals, everything, not just bodybuilder, everybody. Like I wanted to just get out there into all different like sports and stuff. And it was really good, and it felt good in my heart. But like through the years, like the last like 2 years, it's been great. But at this point in time, I feel like it's not growing where I need, like where I wanted to go. Like I want to see it in GNCs. I want to see it in like Targets and Walmarts. And, sometimes you need to be the bigger person to realize like, okay, maybe we're not the people to get it there, to see like the actual vision of it. And we've been friends with Aaron Singerman for like 15 years. Like we knew him back before everything.
He was at RX.
Yeah. RX Muscle. He was the dude. Like we have a long histories, just a long history together. He actually helped us start Run Everything at the very beginning. He was like part owner of that, just like a silent owner, just investor basically. And he like helped us formulate stuff because he was already doing it with Blackstone. So at one point in time, I ended up and like bought him out. So then it was like solely us. And at this point in time, Rob and I are just spread real thin. And I feel like I feel very strong about the Run brand and what the message, like I want to give women a platform that they can shine and tell their story, and they're the focus, and like really have something for females where like they're the star. So Aaron actually is bought back in with Run. We're still part of it. In turn, I'm moving over to Redcon to help him grow Redcon to be, I mean, they're already so big, but like to make them like just the biggest company ever. He has a lot of money and resources and people. He's in Florida, which actually has people it's hard to find even a photographer in Montana. There's a lot of nature photographers, but not fitness photographers. It's much different. So
really, I would have guessed.
It's much different. And
It's Matt's favorite place, by the way.
I always, Jay knows, the day is going to come where I disappear.
Yeah.
I'm going to get rid of everything and I'm going to the mountains.
Yes, it's amazing. And we understand, we put ourselves in this place where it's like, it's hard to find employees. So we realize it's like, so to see like the vision for Run, if we want it to get bigger and actually see like an upward trajectory, right now it's just like, it's just there. So we need someone that has resources. So Aaron has resources. So he's going to kind of see that project out, and I'm going to help him make the biggest company ever. It's friends helping friends,
One of the largest. I mean,
Yeah,
Aaron,
they're huge.
Aaron was a huge, he really helped me a lot. I started my brand in 2019.
He's so knowledgeable.
Formerly had partnership, but it was more built now on a direct-to-consumer base, and now, of course, Amazon. So where he's hit every other, he's in Walmarts and
so he has
and
those
all these
connections.
places. I'm not in those places, but I wanted to focus on direct brand, so I know he kind of had the visionary for that, which I give him a lot of credit to, and obviously like we've seen the success of Redcon, and you're alongside with Kai. Kai's like the big. You guys are the main figurehead, so they got male, female. How has it been for you now? You mentioned you're in Montana. You still travel, but you mentioned your business, so I know you do the daily. So is it called
daily speaking?
Yeah.
What's direction?
So my newest, so obviously my main focus is my just training app. It's just a training app, like adding new programs. At some point, I would love for it to grow where I have like trainers under me. I think that's probably like my next move for that, so that like I'm literally, you're a CrossFitter? You go with this coach, and like I'll have coaches under me, maybe even like a nutritionist that like can, if you want extra help on nutrition, that's where I see that going. On a personal level, because for the last 9 years I haven't competed, so for many years, I felt like there was a void. So I started that business thinking, okay, this is going to fill that like void where like I need purpose in my life. Competing gave me purpose. It made me feel like I'm doing something. It did something for me that nothing has ever done. It really filled something in a purpose-wise and just fulfillment. Yeah, it's not like competing is everything. So starting DLB Daily, thinking like, okay, this is going to fill that. And it does. And like, I love helping people, but I still like through the years, I feel like I'm still missing something, and I could never figure out what it was. Like, could I go back and start competing again? I could. It would be kind of silly. And I would look.
I just want to touch on that in a second.
I feel like I would just look like a cute little pipsqueak, like, oh, cute. That's cute. Lin Bailey came back. Poor thing. Like, you poor little thing.
How great would that be? Dana needs to come back when you do.
No, we were teasing this a couple of years ago, I think, or something.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
You come back, I'll come back.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but there was a point where we had like some serious talks, and Dana, talked about it. Remember, we were going to go to around the world and film you training with different people, and then something happened where you found out you had a condition.
Oh, yes,
and that stopped it. I don't know if you want to talk about that or
not.
not.
So maybe 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, I developed an autoimmune disease. I honestly think from stress. Like, I have like a very stressful life. It's called Graves' disease. I started losing weight uncontrollably. And I was like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like, what's happening? I lost like 20 pounds in like a month. It was very, very scary.
And you don't have like 20 pounds to lose.
Not when you're only like 135 pounds. 20 pounds on, I was like 115. Great. I haven't been 115 since middle school. Like what? Like never. Developed an autoimmune disease. Where it comes from, I have no idea. I do know that stress has, like, if my labs will be off if I had like something happen, or like I've been traveling a lot, my labs will be off because like stress like messes with your thyroid. Thyroid messes up everything. It's something that I have to regulate all the time. So every year I always was like, every year I kind of always like, maybe I come back. Like I feel like I need to do something. We had like
serious talks about it.
And Rob's always been the one like, no, don't do it. He's so, because I just felt like it's great for business. It will be great for DLB Daily and Flagnor Fail. Like I see it as like a business move because like I can market it and like it's YouTube content. And I was like, I'm in the best shape of my life I've ever been. So I'm like, there's a part of me that just wants to see what the heck I would look like on stage. But then I don't want to see myself next to the girls that are winning now.
I know. I remember we were talking about this because, I know people are going to run their mouth and say this because she's drug free. And we were talking about, they were like, we'll get you tested every week and we're going to film it for Netflix and we'll do this and this and this. So
that was like part of it. It was like, cool, I'm going to use this as like, cool, if I compete, I'll get drug tested every single week, leading like even all the way up to the show, just to be like, suck it, guys. And then they'll probably still say, well, you probably just had a doctor alter it. Blah. I was like, okay, I'll never win. It's fine. But what? So that was going to be my like, okay, if I do compete, I'm going to do it at a different angle, almost like to like prove like, hey, you can do this. Yeah. It's just, takes 30 weeks for me, but yeah, it's a long.
What do you mean it takes 30 weeks? You diet for 30 weeks?
You diet drug-free, yeah.
Yeah, my prep was like, I would start with George about 20 to 25 weeks, but I would start a little bit before that. Like I would already start like cardio, like diets on point, and I would start about 30 weeks out.
Oh. That's a long diet. I thought 16 was a long
now,
time.
What I wonder, do you think you had like Graves' disease during that whole time for you to get that lean?
No.
Or do you think it's something that developed later?
No, definitely later because with Graves' disease, I lost so much muscle.
Graves' disease basically means your thyroid is hyperactive. And,
hyper.
It's like taking up 200 micrograms
is it pretty
of T3.
common? Is it pretty common?
Hypo.
Where people gain weight.
Yeah, hypo, which it might because my sister has hypothyroid and I'm hyper. Obviously, I'd rather the hyper
At that point, you could eat pizza 5 times a day and still get in shape.
I was eating, no matter how much I was waking up every day, I was waking up a pound lighter.
And I'm assuming your heart rate was
my
really
heart
high.
rate was like 100, resting heart rate 120. Try sleeping.
Yeah, it's essentially your thyroid is just pumping out T3.
So what if you don't get it? What if you don't get it?
I mean, I'm assuming it could affect your heart in a negative way. If you don't get it Usually, and I'm sure you did a different way, but usually they remove your thyroid.
Oh, my doctor definitely wanted to do that, but
and they put you on T3,
you're
T4
on
combo.
medication for it.
Not now. I actually
you did it naturally.
Yeah, I was. So that's how you get it to calm down. But I was working with like a typical endocrinologist, and they don't teach like regular doctors like nutrition and all that. So I was I was pescatarian. So I was eating a ton of fish and a lot of shrimp. Me not realizing like, okay, shrimp is high in iodine. Iodine triggers your thyroid. I just wasn't even thinking of that.
Like how much shrimp every day? Or?
Oh, I was eating, because it's so easy to cook.
We would ship her orders would be
It would be a
all
lot
fish,
of,
and then Rob at the time was vegan. So we'd send them a ton of vegan patties, and it would be fish and shrimp is all the food that they got.
A lot of shrimp.
For a couple years. It was like...
You're a big shrimp eater.
I don't shrimp as much. I
just think it's so easy to cook. And
you know what's messed up? It's the easiest snack. Yeah. So you can just like 6 ounces of shrimp, some cocktail sauce, eat it, go to sleep.
Oh my gosh, great protein.
Maybe if I eat shrimp 5 times a day, it'll make my... It'll be a fat burning. It'll make my thyroid go up.
Trigger that thyroid
I'm on that DLB diet.
Don't.
These conversations, Tyler, huh?
He's taking a nap over there.
He's over there saying she's natty. That's what he's looking at right now, right?
How does that make you feel?
I know he's looking at her arms and being like, damn, like she benches 225 and like.
You know?
Now
226.
You know, another thing, obviously, I know at one point in there, you had another thing that happened like health-wise because of training.
Oh, I think that was before.
2 years before.
Actually, I think that was even the same year. So I my best friend's Brooke, so like I started getting into CrossFit, but I never went to like a actual CrossFit gym. So one of our employees at the time joined a gym, and like she wasn't going regular, and it's someone that I wanted to like, you know, if I go, it'll make you go, and like she should have gone. She was trying to like lose weight, so I was like, cool, I'll sign up. We're going to go together, like a buddy system, you know? Yeah. I'm a good person. And I was just going to use it as like cardio for me because like I love circuit training. That's kind of how I train anyway. So I was just going to use it as cardio. First day of CrossFit, got rhabdo.
Yo, rhabdo
literally
kill you.
The first day.
I don't know what it is.
So it's the extreme breakdown of you break down so much muscle that it literally shuts your liver off. In my case, my liver was fine. I was in liver failure because your creatine kinase like goes through the roof. Like, you just put too much protein into your bloodstream that it like
from extreme overtraining.
So
usually.
Marathon runners get it, CrossFitters do get it. It's like extreme. Like if let's say you get in a car accident and you have a huge blow to your leg, like that can actually create it too. But I did it the first day of CrossFit on the GHD sit-ups because no one told me, because I don't do them all the time. I don't have a GHD. So it's like the horse where you go down, you touch the floor, and then you come back up. It's like a big movement on your abs. So we were doing like it was a circuit, like 2 minute bout here, 2 minute bout here, 2 minute, like of these different things. And then you had to add it all up. And then we were going to see who the winner was. Like, well, obviously I'm going to try to win. Duh. And so I was doing I was doing like 40 reps in like a 2 minute bout. But no one, as a CrossFit, so this is where that person probably doesn't work there anymore, because as a coach, they teach you, it's like the number one thing they teach you. If someone has never done a GHD, you're not allowed to let them use it, because this actually happens all the time. And I am the most susceptible to getting rhabdo because I already have a lot of muscle and I'm also crazy. So they should have told me to not do more than 10 at a time, or I should have been doing abs, but no one said anything. So I was just crushing them, man. And I got done with the workout and I was like, oh my God, like I could barely like stand up the next day. Like I was like, and me, because I'm a psycho, I was like, wow, that was a really good workout. I'm going to write it down and do it again. You know, because I have never hurt that bad in my life. I went back Wednesday. So that was Monday. I went back to CrossFit Wednesday because I didn't know anything was wrong. I just thought, I was like, cool, this is just the craziest DOMs I've ever had in my life. Went back Wednesday and I was doing Muay Thai also within, I think Tuesday was doing Muay Thai. And then I was still training every day, like bodybuilding. So I was doing all this other stuff still. Wednesday, went back to CrossFit, kind of managed to go through the workout. Thursday is when the fluid retention happened. That's when I was like, oh, okay, something's wrong. It's weird that it took 3 days. All the fluid in my body went to my stomach. And I was like, okay, maybe I tore something. I don't know. So I remember I was like, Brooke, this is so crazy. Like I did this workout. Look at my stomach. Like I would go like this and my stomach would go like Santa Claus. Like I've never, what? It was just all this fluid. She's like, oh my God, go to the bathroom and pee right now and send me a picture. So I went to the bathroom. My pee was fine. So usually with rhabdo, it affects your liver. Your pee will be like brown, like a brownish. It will be discolored. Yeah, because it's breaking everything down. So my pee was fine. She's like, that's so weird, but I'm pretty sure you have rhabdo. Like you shouldn't have done the GHDs. Like it's a huge no-no in the CrossFit world. Like they shouldn't have let you do that. So I finally I made an appointment, went to the doctor probably by Friday. I think I finally got to the doctor. They took my labs Saturday or like finally got them back like a day or two. So this is like a week later and my labs were astronomical. Yeah. And like, I can only imagine what they probably were on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday.
You can die from it.
Oh yeah. So literally my liver was I was in liver failure. So I remember it was weird because I had a dream that night before I got the call from the doctor. I had a dream that night that I was dying. For some reason, I woke up and I was like, Rob, I had a really bad dream. I was dying. It kind of messed me up. And then it was 8:00 in the morning and my doctor phones me. She's like, hey, Dana, what are you doing today? And I was like, I'm just getting ready for work. She's like, is it a possibility that you could drop everything that you're doing and get yourself to the ER right now before anything gets worse? And I was like, and I look at Rob, I was like, I told you I'm dying. So I was crying the whole way because for some reason I thought I was going to die. And I was like, I told you, my dream told, you're dying. But got to the hospital, they just pump you full of fluids and antibiotics and just told me not to
You were
train.
there for a couple days, right?
Yeah, I was there just a day, just that day, and then sent me home. They're like, don't train for a long time. I think I took maybe 2 weeks off. And I eased back into it. And I was like, I'm not going to do anything heavy or hard. I was doing cardio. And then I started training probably officially maybe a month later. And literally, I think, which could have possibly been why I have maybe, because I think it was 3 months later, and then I got diagnosed with Graves' disease. So I don't know if that's linked at somehow, just a huge stressor on your body. I have no idea. I think it was the same year, a couple months later, then got diagnosed with Graves' disease.
You know what I'm thinking of right now? Just because we have an appearance coming up in July back in Mexico, except this time he's coming with.
Yes.
So the last time we went there, going into this appearance, Dana's like, Rob and I have never really taken a vacation. We want to go to Cancun afterwards. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we all go down, me and Regan and Rami was supposed to come.
Our first vacation.
Their first vacation. She was so excited. She's like, we're going on vacation. So I booked their flight. They come down, they go straight to Cancun. So we do this appearance in Mexico City. We go all out to eat where the promoter tells us, do not leave this area because we're in Mexico City. So what do we do in the first chance we get? We leave the area and we go find churros. We're going to get churros. There was a big group of us.
And hot chocolate.
Yeah,
which was probably made with water.
Probably. Andre Dewey and Regan and Cass Martin and Baccara, Eileen Barreto, Rob, Dana.
Everyone.
All of us.
Crushing churros.
We just I don't even know how we got there. It was just far. We go to find churros. So 3 days later.
No, literally the day.
No. I mean, this was Saturday. So you guys go over and I messaged Rob and I said, hey man, how's the vacation? And he sends me a picture of her
in the hospital
in a wheelchair with an IV. And I'm like, yo, what happened? He's like, Dana's sick.
Mexico tried to kill me.
I think he said that Mexico tried to kill her. So
spend my vacation.
Don't drink hot chocolate.
No, you know what's funny is I went for a photo shoot in '98 to Cabo for a weeder. They brought me down last minute for a photo shoot, and I didn't know anything about the water or anything.
No.
And I brushed my teeth and I was so sick. And they had to run the IV. They put me in the hospital, and I had never been sick like that before. I was throwing up like crazy.
Yeah, I was so dehydrated because I was shitting and throwing up, and no matter whatever I put in my mouth, it would come back out. So we went down to the hotel because we were at a hotel, a nice resort, and they're like, they're just sent me to the hospital, and I spent.
So that was your vacation. Half of it.
I think the last day I felt better. I got out. I was there all day.
So that was your last vacation?
No. Now we have a house in Cabo, but we're in Pedregal. You can they have filtered water there, so you can brush your teeth.
Time,
It's amazing.
I just can't get that through my head right now. This picture Robson, she's in a wheelchair, an IV
dying.
and a gown like this, and her head's down like this.
I was so white. I spent the whole night just this is horrible.
It came from the hot chocolate.
It had to be the churros.
You know what? We're going back to the churro spot.
Or
You're coming with.
I also heard you have to like be careful. I had a salad. You have to be careful with like
Yeah.
the salads and fruits and stuff because they wash it in water.
Or if you get the silverware, because sometimes there's traces from them washing it, so you wipe it off.
Gosh.
Or bring plastic silverware.
I know.
So yeah, you get to come to Mexico with us.
Cabo's
I've been a couple of times.
Yeah.
But to Mexico City.
Yeah, that's where I went.
Yeah.
I went for Mr.
That's
Mexico
right, yeah,
a couple
Mr.
times.
Mexico.
Now,
Yeah.
well, now I know. Don't do anything.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to eat.
It'll be fun. It's so far. It's you two, Rob, Mike O'Hearn, Aaron Banks.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll have.
It will be fun.
Oh, you know what we're doing? We're taking. Don't tell him anybody. We're taking Mike to the churro spot.
Yeah, we're going to take Mike to church.
We're gonna get Mike sick.
Hey, Mike, drink this hot chocolate.
We'll sit and watch you.
It's going to be amazing.
Tell us how it is tomorrow, Mona.
You know? Oh, poor guy.
But we got a lot of. I'm trying to think if we have any other appearance. Would you have any other appearances or anything?
Yeah,
you're working
she's
on?
at FitCon coming.
FitCon.
Aren't you like an owner of FitCon?
Yeah, Rob. Yeah, Rob and Keaton.
I'm disappointed. I wanted to come, but I couldn't come because I'm in Nashville this weekend.
Nashville's fun. I love
I'm
Nashville.
there this weekend.
Yeah, we'll be there. And then,
Do
yeah,
you have any other speaking engagements or any other?
I'm going hardcore closer. I'm there. So that's what I was talking about. The new thing that I'm getting very interested in because my first public speaking. So I've done seminars. We've done them everywhere. Question answer, super easy peasy. Usually up there with other people too. But I never did a Dana goes up on stage and just gives a speech. I never did that. So I did my first one at a coaching con, which is all just like coaches. So they had me speak, and I literally broke out in hives like 2 days before. I was so nervous. But after I got done, I basically just kind of talked about what we talked about my whole life, meandering through life and how I'm here and confidence and building that and how you get there and negativity along the way and sticking to like you and not going that direct path. There's always when this door is closed, there's another door that you can go in. So after I got done with that, I realized I was like, maybe this is like my new thing. It's like I've seen like Ed Milet. Ed Milet is an amazing speaker, and he has an amazing story. And most of the time when you go see Ed Milet, he tells the same story. And I have an incredible story that I feel like a lot of people can benefit from it in some fashion. So I feel like that's going to fill that void that I feel like I've had for a while with competing. I got done, and obviously I was nervous the whole time, and obviously afterward it always felt better, but people just told that like I had people crying I cry because a lot of times I talk about things that like it's a very vulnerable thing that I'm talking about, and I'm surprised that normally anytime I bring Rob up, it's like it's an emotional thing because he's really got me through like a lot of stuff, like, and I would not be where I'm at without him, and it's like it makes me really teary, but I have a story, I have things to say, and I think it can really benefit people. So that's my new thing. I actually met with like a professional like public speaker because like I want someone to help me organize my thoughts. Like I'm very just like all over the place. Like, and I want to like be able to tell my story the best way possible. So maybe having someone like help me write it, help me like make sure like this all makes sense. And then, there's what are they called? There's like things that you can go to locally, and they're everywhere. I can't
life
think
coaches or
it's just like to get you comfortable with like speaking in front of people. Like it's called something. It's going to pop in my head at some point, but like start going to those, and every time you go, you have to like present on something. So it just gets you better at talking. So just working with like mechanics of talking and, just get better at that craft.
Who would have thought that Dana gets nervous speaking?
Oh gosh. I think there's so many times, like it's so easy to conversate with people, and even like Q&A, you're still having a conversation with a person, but to like organize like an hour long, that's a long time to talk.
I can't do it.
Just to get up there and just blah, 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 blah. Made me so nervous. But the first one's done. That's the hardest one. So, and then I have speaking event, but it's a panel, so it's a little bit easier. But Hardcore Closer, it's a huge mastermind, really big names that will be there presenting, and then I'm on a panel. So just like trying to get out there into that space and just keep talking.
I can't do it. I have a horrendous anxiety of speaking.
Yeah.
I can't. Even doing this, it took how long? At least a year for me. I don't like being on camera.
Well, I used to hate it too. I remember in college, like, as a teacher, I had to take a public speaking class, and I would be like I would be the one that shakes, and like you could see the paper, just like, oh, I was terrified.
I had public speaking in college, and I remember the professor said,
so scary.
If you do 1, you'll get this. This is the max grade you can get. If you do 2, you can get an A. So I'm like, so what do I have to do to pass? And he's like you just have to do 1 15-minute. And I was like, okay. So at the end of the year, he's like, why didn't you do your second one? I said, no, I'm not doing it. I did enough to pass. That's good enough. I'll get a C. So I did my one speech.
I probably would have did the same thing because it terrified me.
I hate it.
I used to be so uncomfortable. Like now, being on cameras, like I don't even notice them because it's reps. Like when you do reps over and over and over, you just get better at it.
When I worked in the music industry, I had a speaking engagement I had to do in front of, I'm on here with T.I.'s manager, Ludacris's manager, like one of my mentors. There's like big time people here. And I thought, who am I? I'm just some guy. I'm the agent at the time that's doing the big shows overseas. And there's thousands of people there. And I have a panic attack. And I'm just like, and ever since then, if there's ever a camera on me, probably worse. I just froze up and I just sounded like a total moron. So whenever people are looking at me, I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. They're like, no, we want you to speak. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. So even doing this took me a long time.
But the first couple, you're crushing it, man.
The first couple we did them at his house. And like, if you go back and look, I'm sure my face was bright red, but I also had to sit on this desk. He has this desk and I had to sit like this with my legs like, so I'm like, the first couple were like this. My knees were like this. And I'm like, okay, this is uncomfortable. My back hurts. My legs are like straddled around this desk. It was like, the wrong side of the desk just has wood. You can't put your legs under it. Well, I had to like fit. I don't fit anywhere anyways.
Here we are.
The first like 3, I was like, I have anxiety. I have cameras on me. I'm like, and I'm sitting here like really uncomfortable. So
why'd you do that to him?
He's a bully.
I thought it was good. Look at where we're at now.
Look at
75 episodes.
Look where we're at now. We're shooting this in Jay's house. Wink, wink. Yeah. It's right here. Look at all these awards he has.
Look at all your awards. They're so nice. Can we pick one up?
Who was it?
The Arnold trophies over here.
What's funny? When Chris Cormier came on here, he's like, oh man, I thought I was going to take something from the wall. I was going to take one of these plaques.
He was going to take the Arnold trophy.
He's like, I'm going to get the Arnold trophy. It's like, well,
you got to take the whole wall.
You might have to take the wall. You might get a knife and you can get it out. Just stick it to your wall at home.
Got my Arnold trophy.
That's funny.
Well, I'm still not public speaking.
We'll get you up there.
Maybe one day.
People ask me, I'm not interested.
No.
Dina, what's the most exciting part of your day? I have mine. Mine's the gym still. I'm not going to lie.
Mine's probably animals.
You love the animals.
Yeah.
Huh? You got horses now.
Horses are like the new thing. So we have 2 horses now.
Tell the horse story.
Yeah, the horse story. So Matt is actually the godfather of our horses.
I'm legal.
Only because you were just the only person standing around.
That does not matter. I am...
They're like, can
What's
you
the horse's?
sign it?
What is the horse's name? You have 2? Or?
Yeah, Echo and Oscar.
Okay.
Oscar is a half draft. He's Rob's horse. He's like 1,600 pounds. He's beautiful. And then Echo. Echo's my little baby.
And you have the goats.
Dogs.
Everyone knows you. Yeah, you have the big dogs, and you spend a lot of time with the animals. Actually,
Yeah.
What is the hardest animal to maintain?
Probably the horses. They're a
Why?
lot. Just like the shoeing and so
we had horses.
Teeth,
We had 2.
Yeah, and the teeth. Did you have like the horse dentist?
Yeah.
So what people don't know, like horses' teeth don't stop growing. So they
shave them
they have to shave them and file them down.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
And
I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh!
That's
and
why
it's
they
like
say that horse teeth and whatever. They're long. Right?
They're big. Yeah, they just keep growing, and they put this weird like Hannibal Lecter thing on, and they like saw them down.
Yeah.
Oh god.
They come to your house and do all.
Yeah,
this
just the farrier, keeping up with that because you're supposed to get their feet done every 8 weeks, and
the horses are kept at the farmhouse.
Yep, at the farm. Your house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your house. And Jay's house if he wants to go.
Listen, you don't
You
look.
and Jay
You know, I'm gonna say
in
is, you know why he's
Montana.
never gonna come? Because there's not a Four Seasons.
But
He's
there
bougie.
are Four Seasons in
Yes.
Montana. we
Listen,
have great.
we'll get
you
you-
guys don't have Four Seasons here.
We'll get you a nice red roof inn with like a single bed.
Actually, there is I think the nicest hotel is probably right next to the airport, which is really close to our warehouse, which is close to your favorite thing, the gym.
But you know what though? I've been telling them this forever. I've been trying and trying. At some point this summer, they have really beautiful Airbnb spot. We're gonna get you up there and go spend a couple days, go do some
Mountain
look
work.
I guarantee you Tyler's
Cowboy.
eyes
No,
go,
it's
"Ooh,
six. It's
content."
fit for 50, but we're training. We're in training the next 12 weeks, so we're not doing a lot.
No, but she has a private gym.
I
Yeah,
know, but
you can definitely
Dumbbells
still
go up to
work out.
200 pounds. Let's see you do them again.
Yeah.
They
Who
got
uses
they-
200s in Montana?
Nobody. No.
You.
Just for they dusty and
They're just
We're gonna get Regan up there and he'll have him throw them around.
yeah. Somebody. They're
so the animals are
heavy.
your favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
What time you usually wake up?
I set my alarm for 6. I usually wake up 6:30.
And you finish your day around what time?
I get back to the house to like feed all the animals probably around 6 again. So like that whole process happens then. Got to go feed the horses and go feed the goats.
And do
then the
you set
dogs.
goals on a daily basis? Like, do you still write down things like you did in the beginning?
Not
Or
enough.
is it more of a mindset?
My mindset, but like every so often, Rob and I kind of sit down and it's like, okay, are we doing what we want to be doing? You sort of have to like check in with yourself ever so often. We don't do it. Maybe no. I actually we probably do it adequately. I think when it just feels like maybe things feel like they're slowing down, we're like, okay, are we doing what we want to be doing? Is there anything that we're doing right now that we don't want to be doing? Let's get that off our plate. Get something else. And yeah, so now it's just like goals of like our business, like Flagnor fail goals and then goals with DLB Daily again, like I was talking about. Like I'd love to see that just huge. Just trainers under me, and then like, you know, I'm just like, these are my people. Yeah, I just want to be a site. I want to be an app that like literally anybody can go to and you can get programming and nutrition.
What is the best thing about living in Montana for you, and what is the worst thing? Because obviously not a lot of people know what it's like to be there, because you're right near the border of Canada.
Oh yeah.
What's the best and the worst thing in your opinion for you?
Best is the seasons. Like it's hot every time. It's like I can't even pick my favorite season because summer's like now here. So it's like boating and hiking because I love nature. I love being outside. Hiking, we got Glacier National Park right there. But then when winter hits, it's like, no, winter's the best. Like I love snow. Snowboarding is like one of my favorite things to do. So like just the seasons and like all the things like we can ride dirt bikes. Like we just have so many toys and so much things to do that like I literally have to organize my week. Like, okay, today you're going to ride your dirt bike. Tomorrow you're going to ride your horse. The next day we're going to take the boat out. And then here you're going to go on a hike.
What about
like,
the UTVs? Do you still have
yeah,
the UTVs?
yeah. I kind of like dirt biking a little bit more. That's more.
What do you have for a dirt bike?
I just have like a Honda CRF 150.
Okay.
It's a little tiny thing.
You know what?
The
So
250 is a little
four-stroke,
hot, yeah.
So the first time I went up there, I have a distinct memory because this is the first time this ever happened in my life. So Dana comes and picks me up, and we go hiking up to Avalanche.
And what are you
Lake.
driving at this time?
You got
You
a
drive a
4Runner.
Hummer
Did I-
truck or
She had a
I
4Runner.
I have.
But she had the 4Runner.
Yeah, Forerunner at that time.
So we went up, and it was election day. So remember, we went up, we went hiking, and it was the first time that we went up, and there was barely anyone there because it was raining out. And we went, it was probably, an hour and a half to get to Avalanche
Maybe,
Lake.
yeah, like an hour.
And then, an hour back down. And it was the first time I can remember where I thought about nothing except what was in front of me. Like everything, I have a hard time getting work out of my head. And I think the main reason for it is you're going over a corner going, is there a bear there?
Oh,
or is
yeah.
there a
Well,
mountain
yeah, because
lion?
you have to be like you have to be like super alert, like
Yep.
looking behind you. Because there's some trails like we do we did the, maybe it was that 2 years ago because Rob back was better, but we did like a 27 mile, I call it a run. It was like a run and a walk, but 27 miles through Glacier. And like, there's hours where you don't even pass people. Like, and that's like, you're out there. It's like, okay, if a bear attacks now,
You're in trouble.
You're out here hours away from people. No one knows you're out
Your cell
there.
phone-
People get
don't work.
attacked all the time, right?
No, not
Not a
really.
ton.
I mean,
It happens.
it's so rare. It's so rare. Black bear don't want to mess with you. The things you got to worry about are cats. Cats are creepy and they stalk you, and you don't know they're stalking you
Until it's too late.
until they're like right behind you. Like they'll follow you for like a little bit. And grizzlies. Grizzlies, they're just so big and they're more aggressive. Black bear don't want to be around you. They're just like, human, get away.
So when we were up there, it was the first time that I remember, we just walked, that I remember I didn't think about work. I didn't think about stress. I didn't think about anything. It was completely detached. So we walked up, we saw this beautiful mountain. There's these waterfalls. We walk back down, we get in the car, and we start driving back, and then all of a sudden our phones start beeping. We're like, oh shit, we have a new president.
Oh, yeah.
We had no idea.
We
were
forgot about it.
completely detached for about maybe
Really?
3.5 hours
Yeah.
or so. But the other funny part, so we get there, and I go to the farmhouse, and I realize the day before somebody got mauled by a grizzly bear around the corner. Oh, yeah. At that spot. So I'm reading, and Rob's showing me the house, and then he goes, oh, by the way, when we first moved here, there was a cat that was in the tree above the door.
Oh, yeah.
So here I am going to this place, and I'm like, so the neighbor got mauled, and there might be a lion above the door when I come out. I'm like, what kind of hellhole am I staying in?
And
So-
don't put trash outside.
No.
Whatever you do not put any trash outside.
I don't know if anyone's seen the movie Stand By Me, an old movie where Vern has the gun. So as I walk out of the house every night, I bang the door and I have a flashlight and I have a gun. So I'm like walking out, I'm going, all right, if anything's here, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
But you realistically, you have to think like that when you walk out, because there are things there that
Like-
can kill you.
When I'm walking my dog every single day, I have to bring either a pistol or bear spray or something, because we're up there. Like, so you're a little bit safer down there, but like there's still
That
animals.
happens.
There's a mom and cub that live across the street right now that people are like have seen on their trail cams. But up by us, we're even further. So then that's
really
when
out there.
we get up a little, like just a little bit of elevation. We had a grizzly at our house a year ago. Got a couple ago. Like I have to worry about that anytime I go out. It's scary, but it's sort of exciting. Like there's a little excitement to it. Like you just always have to be prepared.
Yeah.
We had I walked Kaya down, and it's like just in our yard, and you can see the house, but like there's literally a bear that could be behind these trees over there. So you just always are alert.
And now the big dogs you guys have, that keeps the lions away, but bears don't care.
Oh no, they don't care
at all.
about anything. Not grizzlies.
Now,
No.
since you got the electric, have they stayed out?
So we had electric. The bear, we ended up I guess it wasn't like on the gate. So we have like this big metal gate. The bear, because it looked like 1,000-pound bear. Maybe, I don't know how much bears weigh, but it was the biggest bear I've ever seen in my life. Had a cub too. I have a video of it. It's crazy to even, because they put a trap in our yard after it. So this mom and cub, I guess, were like going to it actually killed a bunch of my friends' sheep. And then a couple days later, it killed like a couple llamas and released, like it was breaking into like barns and stuff. And then it came to our house, like literally bent our gate in half. And then, which I guess at some point, luckily it bent it and like opened it. So it was like our goats were able to, the ones that didn't get mauled, were able to run away. So we have the 4 of them.
And what do dogs do when
The dogs, I don't know.
Do they know better to?
I don't know what they
that's-
did. Okay. I don't know if they ran when we weren't home. We were actually in Nashville for the Redcon 1 gym there opening, and Drew got the call because I guess I always feel like things happen when we're not there, because like our bedroom's right next to where the goats are. So our window's open. I can always hear stuff. We have a wall of guns that like, okay, if we hear something, if the dogs start going crazy, we grab a gun, we go right out to them. And like, yeah, it's just, I wish I was there. Like, would it have been different? Maybe, I don't know. But Yeah, we have a 6-foot high fence, fully electric, 10,000 watts of electric.
So if they come near, if they touch that part though, that's obviously will scare them off.
It will scare. I don't know. Grizzlies are just like they're so big that I don't even know if they would get phased by it. Like like the zap, like any other animal that they're like, whoa, what is that? Because I mean, 10,000 volts is pretty much like it's not like I've touched it by accident. And it literally sounds like a crazy lightning bolt, like because it's generating. Once you touch it, like generates all the electricity like to that point. And it's like it makes a sound. It's like the sound hopefully would be like kind of scary, but cats will jump over it. They can easily jump over that fence, so they're not even going to touch. But
the cats are smart enough to they see the dogs.
Cats are the same size of our dogs. Our dogs are 150 pounds. Like cats are generally like and there's 2 of them. And a cat's going to kind of it's going to be like, okay, there's an animal, but then I have to fight these 2 animals to get that animal. I think they kind of weigh their options out a little bit.
They're smart.
They're going to go after a turkey or a deer or something.
See, that was the other thing at the house. Every morning I'd wake up and I'd go drink coffee, but there's so many turkeys in the yard.
There's like
they're
20
everywhere.
20 turkeys.
And you always, I'm waiting to see a bobcat come run out or something because that's like
right
lunch.
now we have a fox there that's like killing all of them. There's a really feisty fox going around.
Yeah, we used to shoot the fox on the farm because they'd eat all the chickens.
Yeah.
The chickens would disappear. It was just feathers left,
Yeah. He's a cutie. I saw him. He's really cute, but...
Would you take him out?
Oh, he's so cute, though.
Take him out. Yeah. You have to.
And I understand, but, I mean, it's nature, I guess.
Actually, you know what the funniest part of that farm is? Those prairie dogs.
I hate them.
Oh my God.
Okay,
dude.
They need to go away because
there are hundreds of them.
And they create
Hundreds.
the whole. I'm so scared for our
horse. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you have to. So we fill them all in, and then we fill them all in on their side right now. So you got to be careful that a horse doesn't because if their foot, if they break a leg, there's nothing you can do when a horse breaks its leg. So, and I do not want that to happen. So those dogs. If anyone wants to come to my property and just
you could honestly though, if you had like you could use a 17 HMR or whatever.
Yeah,
you could sit
out there.
You
and
could
just
sit there all day, and you could just take them out. They're as far as the eye can see, they're everywhere.
There's hundreds of holes on that other side. So at some point, we've tried everything. There's like gases that you can bring. Like they're still there. We tried, and then. When Evan, we had like 2 employees that live there, we gave them a gun. We're like, anytime you're bored, there you go. It's like, what was that, whack-a-mole? Like where you like hit that thing?
All I'm thinking of right now is like Caddyshack with the gopher.
Yeah, it's that.
I'm telling you,
there's so many.
There's times, I mean, from a distance, they're cute. You look at them and you're like, oh, look at those little dogs.
They are cute.
The mom and dad, and they're looking up and you want to be like, holy crap.
They come out of their little hole and they're like, yeah, but they're destroying they destroy the whole field.
Are they everywhere? Or are they in certain fields?
I don't know. Like I know.
I've never seen them anywhere else in my life except that property.
Yeah, right. And then you'll go down the street and like there you have a field, but like I haven't seen them there. Like why aren't you there?
Maybe someone played a joke on you.
Yeah, why are you all here?
Why don't we need to go up there? I have guns that haven't been shot yet. We're taking them to Montana.
Yeah, just take it.
I'll take one of them little suckers out with the 308.
Yeah, just take it. I'm an animal lover, but like I don't want you to endanger my other animal.
But I'm surprised you guys don't go up there and just like rob his guns and stuff. Why don't you go take some out?
Limited time, dude.
Yeah, he didn't even come with me to Vegas to hang out.
But that's fun.
I'm disappointed, Rob. We missed you.
Yeah, what the heck?
Oh yeah, all right. We got to call Rob out for not coming to Vegas.
Yeah, what the heck?
So we need another trip. Then Rob needs to come back.
Yeah.
And then Rob can sit here.
Yes. Perfect.
That'll be round 2.
And then maybe he'll talk about me like I talked about him.
See if he gets teary-eyed.
He might.
Well, listen, we love that you came on. We appreciate you coming over. I know today's been a busy day for you, but I'm sure we'll have you back on at some point. But we want to wish you the best. I hope things just continue to move forward with you. And most people, how do they get a hold of you through your Instagram.
Yeah,
Facebook,
Instagram's the one I
your
probably
DB
concentrate.
daily.
But I'm on everything: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. If you're interested in training with me, it's dlbdailyapp.com, and it will show you kind of.
I'll link it in.
Yeah. Yeah, come train with me. Make muscles.
Could you get me swole?
Oh yeah,
He
easily.
can't be helped.
Oh my god.
He tries to bully me, but you know what's funny? If we go train, I'm still stronger than him.
Oh no.
Well, he's on 1,000 MIGs.
Oh, he always says that. He gets so mad because
He's on
I don't
1,000 MIGs.
because
You
I
don't know anything about MIGs.
No,
but
I'm
because
not. I'm not
he's
on any
not,
of
he's
them.
not natty. So.
Listen, because I don't take.
Cheater.
I'm not a
you little cheater.
I'm a cheater. I'm not a juice dumpster like him.
My God.
He's, you know
Well,
how
everyone thinks I'm a juice dumpster, so.
You know how natty he is. He's as natty as Mike Horn.
Don't pick on poor Mike.
Oh, that's what we're doing. When we go to Mexico, we're doing a natty retreat with Mike and Dana.
Well, he hasn't ventured on our podcast yet, but so
Yeah, he's avoiding us
Why?
because Jay's a bully.
Well, that's okay.
Wasn't he supposed to come last Saturday?
Yeah.
He
You
put a
scared
post
him
up.
away, you
I'm
scared
going to be
away.
at Fit Club training. I went, yeah, dude. I didn't even respond back to him.
Oh,
He's scared.
don't be scared, Mike. Everything's okay.
Oh,
I'll come and hold your hand.
We're gonna make this video and we're gonna post it and tag Mike.
Oh,
well, we
he's the
appreciate you
greatest.
coming on. It's for episode 75.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Such
you.
a good number. Thanks for picking a good number.
And
for
you're
me.
gonna be fit at 50, and she's about to turn 40 in a couple weeks.
Fit at 40.
Yeah, but you're already fit. He's not.
Get there. I saw that fat picture of you. It's amazing.
It's on
Did you
Instagram.
post it or
It's live.
How's it doing?
live. Oh my
Wow.
God, that's a,
Wow.
Jay
Wow.
gave up. This is Jay giving up.
Wow. We
All
have
right,
to.
we're closing this thing out. Thank you
No,
so
no,
much.
no. We're showing
Thank
this.
you.
Oh my God! Look at this one right here. Let's see. This one goes here. That's the one right here.
Oh man.
Look at that right there.
Yeah, just take that in.
That's not fake either. That's a real picture.
That is a real photo.
My phone keeps going dark.
All right, we're done. Bye.